Who do you think Diego Cocca should build his team around?
This isn't even close. It's Santiago Gimenez. Santiago Gimenez is 21 years of age. Let me give you a refresher of what Santiago Gimenez's last calendar year has been like on the soccer field. 5 goals for Cruz Azul in 5 games. He leaves Liga MX as the Golden Boot leader. Tries his luck before the World Cup in Europe, thinking that may somehow get him on the list. It should have. It doesn't. He scored his 8th goal in the Eredivisie last night. He's got 5 Europa League goals, only 1 less than Marcus Rashford. Yes, that Marcus Rashford, one of the hottest players in the world right now, 2 cup goals. That's a whopping 20 goals in a calendar year for a 21-year-old that's not even been a regular starter, Sebi, and he keeps getting better. This is the player that should have been on that flight to Qatar, a player that you should have already been building to 2026, now has to be the pillar of the team, now has to be the face of that roster, and now has to be your starting 9.
Interesting here. You mentioned the 8 goals in the league, 15 all comps, and then you added the 5 there to get to your total of 20. It has been quite interesting because he's done it in different competitions. He survived the move to Europe, which we know can be very difficult. Herc, I'm going to agree with you here, though. There are some other options. What I'm seeing from Santi Gimenez, which I really like, and I watched this game on the weekend, is he is, aside from the goals, which you have to get, he is physically dominant. Like, he looks like Shaq posting up a 5'7" guard sometimes. I know the Eredivisie isn't the best league when you talk about defenses, but that's something I don't remember seeing from Gimenez as much of when he was at Cruz Azul, right? Maybe I'm being a little prisoner of the moment right now, but I would love, love, love to see him be the piece that Diego Cocca builds around. The other options for me, I think Edson's a player you could talk about. If you go line by line, you could maybe build a midfield around him. Cesar Montes, maybe you should consider building the back line against him, around him, sorry. But if you're talking about attack, the only other option is Chucky Lozano, Herc. But I would make the argument that really since his injury in the Gold Cup a couple years ago, Chucky Lozano stopped being the guy. He could be a guy, but he couldn't really be the guy. Before that injury, when he was Mexico's only goal threat, he was still dangerous. Now when he's Mexico's only goal threat, it looks like everybody knows that that's the case. They hammer him, they shut him down. I think he needs somebody like Gimenez to bring the best out of Chucky.
Well, you spoke about Santiago Gimenez and the things that he can do because of his physical traits, the intangibles that come with him. He's a big boy. That's the reason. There's a reason they call him El Bebote. He's a big boy, and not only with that big frame comes the blazing speed that he has. We were here in Los Angeles in the MLS versus Liga MX All-Star game. There was a play where he just pushed it long over Walker Zimmerman, and it wasn't even close. It got awful ugly. He didn't score that play, but you got a close-up glimpse of just how fast he is, and he's a goal scorer. So take the traits you already have in those 9s. Raul Jimenez's ability to bring others in. Santi Gimenez has proven he can do that as well, but he's got that goal scorer's mentality with those physical traits. And Chucky Lozano, you're right. It's been a good 2 years since we've really said Chucky Lozano is, one, a consistent threat for his team, off the bench, starting, whatever the case may be, club-wise, and also with the Mexican national team. He's been that dull as of late.
Yeah. My only doubt here would be if you do make it about Santiago Gimenez, you're obviously, reducing the role that Henry Martin is going to have. You and Mao had a heated debate about who should be the starting 9. I love Henry Martin. You know that.
How old is Henry?
I think he'd be a great number 2. I think as a role, he played at America a little bit unhappily, but he didn't blow up the locker room. I think he's like a perfect number 2 for the national team. Keep him in that role, but to your point about age, build around the younger guy. Don't build around the older guy. Come on.
2026 is the main goal.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.